Right now we're at what we call the Fencerow stand, and this Fencerow stand is nice because you can see behind the stand it drops off, and so we can access into the stand, get in and out from behind me, from behind the fence row, and the deer that are out in this field can't see us coming. And so as we talk about this series and these stand stories, what's real important is your access. I mean, that's the most important. We're going to talk access on all of our stand locations, and how you get in and out of the stand, how you avoid spooking deer, how you don't go through deer areas to get to that stand is so critical. And this location is very nice because we have a pretty defined, again, each stand tells a story. This stand right here, deer are coming from bedding. Bedding is a very nice tiered bedding where we have various layers of bedding. The deer are coming from down below. If you can see in the viewfinder, the land really drops off. I'd say it drops off in about 300 feet in elevation down below. These deer are bedded on a series of benches. They come through this thick brush. We actually have a water hole back in there about 70 yards in the brush. They hit the water hole. They hit this food plot that's right here. It's now covered by snow, of course. You can see where they've been foraging on in the last little bit. That's on a little bit of brassica, some turnips that are in there, and some annual rye out in the open areas here. But these deer come out of their bedding areas. They hit this food plot. This food plot happens to be southwest of the stand. So as long as we're getting southerly winds, we're really good at this spot. And that covers our access too. Now if you go to the left of this food plot, what's really nice is we got a little bit lucky in this popple tree happened to blow down and fall right into our food plot. So the deer are either forced all the way around the back side of it in the woods or right out here at our feet. It actually pinches the deer off to about 25 yards from the stand location. So that just added to it. Now some of the stands, and we may see that in future stand stories, but whether you're using snow fencing or trees that are cut down, hinges, those deer can be constricted to you. Now, I've been on client properties where the client's trying to constrict these deer into a little 10-yard opening or a 5-yard opening. This happens to be about a 25-yard opening. Those deer feel very comfortable coming through the food plot. And then as they're coming through this food plot, the reason they're coming in here and not staying, we don't want them to stay here. I rarely hunt on a food plot, and the reason is because I don't want to get in and out of here and spook deer. It really sets a tone for the entire property, and you're not going to have the success you want. So in this location, these deer are moving through this food plot, and if you can see the clump of pines up in the center of the field, we have a large food plot system that's about 2 acres in size behind that and to the right of it. And so those deer head off to that direction. There's not much reason for them to go anywhere else. That's the main food source. Once they get there, they're completely safe, and that's key. They can go up to that large food source, and they can feed all night, and once they're there, we don't touch them. We try not to spook them. Any way we get in and out, we go around there. So once those deer get there, we want them to be very safe. And even this location right here, the deer have the feeling of being very safe. They can hit this and move on. The nice part about that is they're not coming here for an hour at a time, a half hour at a time. They're simply moving through to their destination over here. And what makes that nice is we can get in and out of the stand. Very low probability that the deer is at our feet when we get in here. So you can see the backward access behind the stand, downhill side approach, so we're approaching up to the stand. We really have to get about halfway up the stand until we're above the weeds and debris, and a deer could even see us that's out here. So we've actually been able to climb in and out of that stand, had a deer feeding on the plot, and not spook them. But then those deer are coming from the bedding, hitting the water hole, hitting the small food source, and then heading off through secure cover in the CRP and getting into that large plot. So a lot of reason for deer to move from point A to point B. We can get in and out without spooking them. It's produced some great encounters, some great sightings. We've seen some very nice mature bucks from this area. Obviously it's out in the open, so we can see a long ways and see some nice bucks, sometimes not get good shots at them. We've been able to pass some decent bucks through here in this location, but it offers some really good hunting opportunities.